We are on the road to WrestleMania 42, 52 weeks away. Yes, it is 1 year too early to predict this, but we're going to have a bit of fun, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get weird, as they say. WrestleMania 42 match card predicted. We've just finished WrestleMania 41, where John Cena's become a 17-time world champion, and Travis Scott helped him win the main event, where we'd expect neither of those to be around next year. John Cena's meant to retire at the end of the year, but how the rest of the roster's open. So NXSteve, we're going to dive through and give our match cards, and then at the end of the video, we're going to turn around to the comment section and ask them to get their creative pencils out and give us their WrestleMania match card. Now, obviously, WrestleMania is 2 nights, so we have gone with a strong match card. This year there was 7 matches on each night, so that's 14 matches in total, if my maths is correct. So NXSteve, would you take it away and give us your first match for WrestleMania 42, please?
So starting off with my Night 2 main event, last man standing match, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that these two are destined to main event a Night 2 at a WrestleMania, and it's going to be next year.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, I've got the same main event as well, and as Night 2 also. I don't have the last man standing stipulation, though. I like that you've added that in there, because obviously it's just at that point the feud is personal. They've already had a singles match, a steel cage match. So yeah, I mean, up the ante, why not? Absolutely. Yeah. For me, I've gone with a simple plain singles match, but I just feel that with last year, obviously at this point, it's this year currently. So weird to say that sentence. But Seth obviously won at WrestleMania 41 on the Night 1 main event, taking that win away from CM Punk. It's just a way of getting the win back on the WrestleMania 42. They have the Night 2 main event as well, because it would fit them this time around to be the closing part of WrestleMania. Seth Rollins now has been proclaimed as like the #1 guy in the company from Paul Heyman when aligning with him. So it all makes sense. The title being involved, Punk getting the revenge, and then yeah, both of these guys not only WrestleMania main eventers, but both WrestleMania main eventers who won matches as well. So yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely. I just think it's almost like it's destiny for these two to happen. But anyway, I'll move on to my second match. Night 1 main event. The Women's Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan, will be facing Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton for the Women's World Championship.
Love it. That's brilliant, because that's fresh faces in the main event scene as well. And yeah, I think it's great, because that's the future of WWE's women's division right there, given a proper showcase as well.
Definitely, man. Like I said, we've always complained about the Rumble winner not being in the main event. Next year, Liv Morgan is going to win, and she is going to main event WrestleMania, I hope anyway. And like I said, Roxanne Perez, she's going to have a stellar year. She's going to have a breakout year this year. Tiffany Stratton, going to have a great year as well. So put all 3 of them in the main event.
I love that match. I really, really do. I do have Liv winning the Royal Rumble as well, but I don't still have it main eventing. I have 2 other matches that I think potentially could be in the shout of the main event picture. I know, but bear with me. I feel I should also go with those matches first. So let's go with the first of those. And since the fact that you did mention a women's match, I think that it's fun to have the idea of 1 men main event and 1 female main event. So let's go with it. Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Look, it's the 2 current biggest stars in the women's division, at their peak right now in WWE. They've started off a feud this year at WrestleMania, which involved Io Sky as well. They kind of dismissed Io Sky, and they both paid the price for it by losing at WrestleMania 41. I think now they will probably be kept apart in the draft, so they can sort of keep this storyline dragging out, so when they do sort of come face to face on the road to WrestleMania 42 to New Orleans, they can actually pick up where they left off. And this time there's no distractions, there's nothing in the way. It's a full-on grudge match. It's the best versus the best, and perhaps maybe both of them have beat Io Sky on the road to WrestleMania to actually showcase it as that. So yeah, for me, I'm looking forward to Bianca versus Rhea in a singles match capacity, where it feels like it's the most important match.
You've beaten me to my third match. That is exactly the same. I'm going with that singles match, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, for a world title as well. I don't feel either of these need to win a Rumble to get this match, so that's why I've not booked either of them to win it. But I still think we're going to get the same match. It's going to be killer.
I think that whoever is the Women's World Champion at the time, the reverse will win the Elimination Chamber. And since Bianca won the Chamber this year, let's have Bianca as the champion, shall we? And let's have Rhea actually have to win the Chamber to get to that position. I think that makes the most sense. So the alternative Night 1 main event for me I've gone for Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Yes, not Roman Reigns versus The Rock. I am not putting The Rock on this card at all. Not versus Cody, not versus Roman, because The Rock turns up, starts some shit, and then disappears. So I don't trust him to actually be a part of the WrestleMania card. But maybe that's what The Rock wants us to do. I don't know. But since literally they had to make all the changes to WrestleMania 40, I feel like he's just punishing the fans at this point, to be fair. But hey, he's not on my card. But do you know what? Drew McIntyre deserves this. He deserves a massive WrestleMania match, and he deserves another WrestleMania main event caliber match, if not the main event for one of the nights. Against Roman Reigns, look, it's where all the history is, isn't it? You go back to Clash at the Castle in 2022. Drew was supposed to have the crowning moment in Cardiff. Obviously, the home nations, if you will, winning the championship from Roman, didn't get the job done. He's had the issue with the bloodline ever since, and he always claims he's telling the truth. Well, at this point, Roman's probably full on babyface. He's broke away from Heyman. He's probably won the Seth feud in the end, perhaps in my prediction, in War Games. Maybe they lose at SummerSlam, but he wins it in War Games. So that way Roman can move on, and that's when Drew enters the picture. And yeah, I think he finally wants to put Roman down on the biggest stage of them all.
See, I don't even have Roman booked on my card for WrestleMania next year. Neither do I have The Rock. I normally would have gone Roman versus The Rock like I did last year, but I'm the same as you. Don't want him bothering turning up. And I think Roman, that he's starting to slow down. I think this can be the first year where we don't have Roman on a match card. I still have Drew on my match card. So for my next match, I initially had this down as just Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship, because I like this Rumble being in Saudi, it kind of makes sense for Sami to win it. But I thought if Kevin can't make that match, I'm going to throw Drew in as a third person. So I've gone with KO versus Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship as a triple threat. That's varying on if Kevin Owens returns in time to be for that match. But otherwise, Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre is the alternative.
I love it. I think it'll be a great match. I have not booked Kevin Owens for WrestleMania 42. Had KO been around, I would have done the Sami versus KO match as potentially one of the main events as well, because I think that's what would be that's left in their story to do, I think, at this point. But with KO's injury, not sure of the timeline. I've not booked it, but so I've done something a bit risky instead. I've gone for Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso, and I've gone for that is the match, and that is the time, and that is the place that Sami will turn heel on Jey Uso.
Oh, you're really delaying the heel turn, then pushing it back a whole calendar year. That seems so. I mean, yeah, because you obviously want Sami to be a babyface winning the Rumble. That makes a hell of a lot of sense in terms of narrative and heel face dynamic.
This adds some believability in this at this point as well. Jey Uso at this point is a two-time world heavyweight champion, because I don't think he holds the title for a whole year. So let's say, for fun's sakes, that Jey Uso loses the title around SummerSlam period, maybe just before, just after, something like that. Maybe he can win the title back at a Royal Rumble without being in the Rumble match, for example. And maybe at that point, he then goes to WrestleMania. He takes on Sami Zayn. And Sami says he wants to, he'd like nothing more than to share the stage with, a close friend, a brother to him,
his brother,
have that match for the world title. And then, he does the dirty on Jey Uso in the main event, because he's always said that he's someone that is a main event. He believes in himself, and he's always been that maybe guy, not quite got the job done. And deep down, he's jealous of Jey Uso, the fact that Jey got the job done at WrestleMania 41. So he's going to make sure he does it at WrestleMania 42 by turning heel in the process. And the reason I've gone for a whole year for this heel turn, just quickly, is Triple H booking in it. He delays everything for a very long time.
It sounds ideal in a perfect scenario, whether we get it or not, whether injuries are not a thing. Sami is one of them guys that just deserves a world title run at some point anyway. And I mean, as much as I'd love to see him as a babyface, having a heel turn, I think, would just add so much more to it, especially going forward after WrestleMania.
Certainly, indeed. Give us your next match.
My next match, number 5. So I'm going with all my serious matches first before I get on to my goofy ones that are just trying to whack everyone on the card. I've gone with the Ring General to come up against the ruler of WWE, Obafemi. No titles involved, just two big, beefy men having a killer match at WrestleMania. The ruler versus the Ring General.
Take my money. shut up and take my money. I've got nothing more I just want to see it. I didn't know I needed to so much until you just said it right there.
Yeah,
wow.
It just has to happen, doesn't it? It's just one of the matches.
It's beautiful. It genuinely beautiful. It puts my Gunther match almost to shame at this point. And I think it's a great match that I put for Gunther on this card because I'm in dream match territory. And this has to be this guy's last opportunity to have that great WrestleMania match at this point in his career. I've gone with Gunther versus AJ Styles.
Oh, that sounds like a retirement match to me, if you know what I mean.
It could have that implication onto it. Yes, absolutely. Certainly AJ's chest might be by the end of it for sure.
Definitely. It sounds like a hell of a match, and like it's just AJ's, like, depending on how AJ performs over the next couple of months with his in-ring style, because we know he can't do the high-flying stuff. So if he can develop his in-ring ability over the next 12 months, that could be honestly a 5-star match for the year.
I think it's. I mean, AJ's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I think that he's good at mixing up the styles, and like you say, perhaps maybe he's starting to lose a bit of a step, maybe, if you will. And I think this almost seems to be this biggest stage. I think there's this extra pressure that needs to be this 5-star match, and we've just not really had that with AJ just yet. Probably the best match still that he's had at a WrestleMania is WrestleMania 33 against Shane McMahon. So, look, we need to get a match there for AJ that stands out, that's not the Boneyard match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 36, which was cinematic. So let's do it in front of a crowd. Gunther, I think, is the right guy.
For as amazing as AJ is, it almost feels like we've not seen the best of him on WWE, and it sounds criminal because, like you said, his best match at WrestleMania is with Shane McMahon, and this is AJ Styles, for God's sake. So yeah, it should be a lot more. Talking of retirement matches, I'm bringing back one from last year that we never got this year. I'm bringing back Hair versus Mask, Dom versus Ray. This match has to happen at a WrestleMania. Dominic has to be the one to retire his father, and it has to be a Hair versus Mask match. It's a goofball match, but it has to happen.
I've got the same match written down. I'm going to be on this hill until it happens. That's it, pretty much. The only thing that might change from last year's prediction is that Dom might actually go in as the face and everyone actually treats Ray as the deadbeat dad.
I would love it. Yeah, it would be so good. That's
it's
one of the ones where we just want it to happen. Like, and especially after his winning the IC title, you can see that his natural babyface turn is just coming.
It is there. The fans are fickle. So, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, they will turn on Ray in this scenario now because fans just want to be fans. So, yeah, it's going to be done.
Definitely. Okay, since you've got the same match, I'm going to go with my next one. This one is a pure grudge match, and it was a case of you kept me off WrestleMania 41 last year. 42, I'm getting my revenge. I'm going Becky Lynch versus Bayley.
Yeah, love that match. Makes a lot of sense as well to get the combination, the revenge on the biggest show possible. Yeah, love that. I think that's a great match that you could throw in there. I have Becky Lynch on the card. I have Becky Lynch going against Tiffany Stratton, perhaps for a women's championship. I'm not saying Tiffany holds the title the entire way through, but perhaps Becky's the champion at this point. Who knows? It's way into the future. My crystal ball is a bit hazy at this particular moment, but laying the cards on the table, Tiffany beat Charlotte this year. I think that beating Becky next year just really solidifies Tiffany as one of the top stars in the women's division moving forward permanently.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to my one, it's kind of like I want them to move forward now, and Becky's so in a weird position of like, is she going to be a full-time or a part-time or whatever? I wouldn't be against seeing it against Tiffany. It's just a case of, again, if we've still got the heel Becky that we're getting today, I reckon that could be really, really good.
Yeah, I think it would certainly be an interesting one to go with. Certainly would hopefully not have the same complications that we had with Tiffany and Charlotte Flair anyway.
Yeah. My next match, this is my last serious match that I've booked for WrestleMania because the last 6 are all really sort of just get everyone on the card. Cody Rhodes, I had to give him something. Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I think that if you're going to finish a rivalry between two guys that have a lot of history, do it on the grandest stage of them all. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton.
Got the same match booked. I didn't have Cody versus The Rock. So, yeah, Orton makes the most sense. I think there will be an actual story, though, with these two starting now. I think that Orton is the one arguably coming for the title from John Cena. Arguably, you could say there could be an element of helping Cody and wanting to do it for Cody initially, as well as himself winning the world title. When he doesn't get the job done, he might jump into what I predicted is Cody's next feud, which will be Drew McIntyre going into SummerSlam. So I have that feeling kind of watching each other's back over the next 12 months, and I think there will just come a point where Randy's got to be Randy. He will turn his back on Cody at some point, and there you go. That match set then for WrestleMania 42.
Definitely, like I said, it's one of them ones. It just gets Cody on the WrestleMania card, to be fair, but it makes sense as well. So, plausible answer. Right, onto goofball territory now, and I'm kind of a bit perplexed as to where to start. I'm going to go with a TLC match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I'm going to go with the New Day versus Finn Balor and AJ Styles, and a reunified tag team of the Usos. I think the Usos are going to reunite and go back to being tag team wrestlers by next year.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's a very strong tag team match. That's fantastic. I love the sound of that. And yeah, in ring wise, that should be a lot of fun. I must admit, I feel like people will tell me they might think already that the card's a bit goofball. I'm not sure, but if not, I'm still thinking I'm okay with the layers of where I'm going at the moment. So we're going to see that there's one or two towards the end that will be perhaps questionable, and we'll get towards them at the end. But first off, Liv Morgan, we said about her winning the Women's Royal Rumble. I have her going against Charlotte Flair. Yes, I know Charlotte holds a title of some description, but yeah, Liv versus Charlotte, I think that gives Liv finally that moment to have a breakout singles match at WrestleMania.
I have not even booked Charlotte Flair on my WrestleMania card. I'm like, she draws a lot of sour note, and I think we should be looking at the point of building to the future. And this is the same with Roman Reigns, really. Roman Reigns can afford not to be in a WrestleMania card, and I think Charlotte Flair can not to be afforded in a WrestleMania card, which is why I haven't booked her. But again, solid booking gives Liv her a one-on-one moment and an opportunity to be in the spotlight to take it from someone. And if you're going to do it against anyone, why not the greatest female wrestler of all time?
And like I said, everyone's cheering Dominic Mysterio at this point. If she's still aligned with Dirty Dom, that could make Liv a face as well.
Definitely. Okay, on to my next one. This one, again, isn't so much of a goof. My last four are definitely goofball. But this one, your still United States champion in Chelsea Green is going to take on Naomi and Lyra Valkyria. I think that if you put them three in together, Naomi deserves a WrestleMania moment after like the heel work that I imagine she's going to put in over the next 12 months is going to be really good. And Lyra Valkyria is just a solid wrestler. And you put all three of them in together, it should be a good match.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, I had too many matches into our 14 matches. So the Women's United States Championship was the one that slightly made the cut, unfortunately. So honorary mention the Chelsea Green versus Bayley. Sadly, that was the one that didn't make the cut. Apologies. But hey, you never know. If you can get a 15 match card, I'm bumping it in. But in the meantime, the Men's United States Championship did make the card. A steel champion, Jacob Fatu versus Bron Breakker.
I have something very similar, but I have more people involved in the same match.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yours is the logical booking. I've gone for let's get people on there. So I've put in Rusev, Bron Breakker, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Bronson Reed, and Damian Priest. Just some big beefy men. Do whatever you want with it, but put it for the United States Championship.
I like it. Is it like a scramble? Is there a ladder match involved? Iron Survivor Challenge?
See, I have other matches. I already have a TLC and another ladder match booked. So the only thing I could possibly think of is like, I don't know, probably a championship scramble, like a 20-minute championship scramble, last pinfall wins. Do you know what I mean?
I like it. I like it indeed. So they gives them some time at least as well, guaranteed there for WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you never know where I've made one mistake on this WrestleMania card. I've got both sets of tag team titles booked. Let's go with the first one. Street Profits versus New Day. We've never had it. I don't remember ever seeing the Street Profits versus the New Day, two of the most decorated tag teams, seven going against each other.
Well, yeah, I already had the New Day booked against someone else, but I do also have the Street Profits booked for a tag team title match. I have them defending in a fatal four-way against the Lucha Bros, Dragon Lee and El Vikingo, and DIY as a fatal four-way for them tag team titles. Like just honestly trying to get people on. Like you said, your one is a much more logical, never seen it before, should happen on the grandest stage. I'm just trying to throw people on the card at this point.
Well, if you want to see people thrown onto the card, check out my other tag team title match I've got going here. I've got 6 teams in a ladder match. Let's throw it all together.
Great.
Oh yes. We've got the Motor City Machine Guns. We've got DIY. We've got the Lucha Bros. We've got Fraxium. We've got Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And we've got Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams reunited.
I'm almost gutted that I didn't put Fraxium on my card. I'm actually upset with myself now. That sounds like a hell of a match, man. And like putting Trick and Carmelo back together, probably the best bet for Carmelo in terms of booking, and gives Trick something to do before he ultimately goes on to be a massive single star. That's great.
Interesting. Glad you like the sound of it. Well, I think we have like 2 matches left.
We do. I'm just trying to decide which to leave for last. I think I'm going to leave my other goof. Well, they're both 6-person matches, so it doesn't matter which one I choose. But I've gone with a 6-way ladder match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which will feature Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Zoe Stark, Zelina Vega, Jade Cargill, and Asuka.
Fun. That's a really good lineup. And there's a lot of damage control against one another in that one. It must be a bit of a breakup coming.
Must be, but like I just feel like every single one of them, I know, well, apart from Jade, I know can all do well in ladder matches, and I think if you throw Jade in there as well, there's a potential for her to make a big name of herself on the biggest card of the year.
Certainly, indeed, would not be against seeing that at a WrestleMania. Well, I've got 2 singles matches left to go. I've got one that might feel perfect for the second match on the card, and one that seems a bit batshit crazy. Let's go for the one that's probably most likely to be second match on the card first. Damian Priest versus Aleister Black. Just kind of got this kind of like, Priest versus kind of devil kind of vibe going with these two as the sort of theme of the storyline. Aleister Black returning to WWE as well, and Damian Priest, Triple H is a big Priest guy, so I imagine he would still find Priest stuff to do. At this point now, I have Priest more of like the mid-card kind of guy rather than in the top championship picture, and I can see Aleister Black being at that level as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually think I've booked Priest. I booked him in the United States match in the 6-way, and again, another logical match that probably has the definition of possibly happening. I've gone with just stupid 6-man, multi-man matches because I want to get everyone on the card. And like, my last match, it has Aleister Black in it. It's Aleister Black versus Logan Paul versus Chad Gable, because he missed this year, and I think it's only fair he gets a shot next year, versus Ilya Dragunov versus Trick Williams versus Santos Escobar, just as a name I threw in there on last, just as an extra one, just for that for the Intercontinental Championship.
I like it. Do you know what? I'll have Priest and Blackers for the IC title as well, just so it has that continuity and a reason for that match to be on the card. I like your ladder match, by the way. Yeah. Ilya Dragunov is a name I completely forgot, and he should be well back, returned from injury from that point as well. So these names
I sifted through the injury list. That's why I said I put Bronson Reed on there, because I feel like he's got momentum to come back from. Ilya Dragunov was another one. I'm sure there was someone else I put on the card. They're names that should deserve to be on a WrestleMania card by this time next year.
Certainly, indeed. Well, one name that you mentioned was Logan Paul, and I told you I was going to go for a crazy match to finish things off, because WWE is all about moments. They're all about viral. They're all about doing stuff that gets eyes on the product. So, I have gone with Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny. The 2 celebrity wrestlers that people are most hyped about against each other. Which one is better?
That's probably do you know what? Of all your match cards, that's probably the most definite one to happen. Like, if you want a percentage, that probably has the biggest percentage to happen, that one. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's just something they do. Like, don't get me wrong, if anything, they'd probably do it as a tag team match and maybe put Priest with Bunny against Paul and someone else. But the singles match, I don't think they'd be against it. Logan Paul's established himself as a wrestler now, and Bad Bunny, we've seen from when they did, I forget the show that they did in when he faced Priest. That's it, Backlash Puerto Rico. He had a fantastic showing, and it's that social interaction, that media interaction one's the one that's going to get all the clicks and the views and the most views on their social media page the next day. It's definitely a really good shout.
I'd have to see if they ever wanted to go crazy enough to do such match, because usually you'd have celebrity against full-time pro wrestler. Logan Paul's not full time, but he's around a lot more. So maybe it'd be a very big trustworthy moment to put these two in a match against one another. Well,
hey,
ladies and gentlemen,
to possibly take that title off of Jey Uso, Logan Paul's definitely the one.
Yeah, certainly probably could be the one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our match card for WrestleMania New Orleans, WrestleMania 42. So before we give the rundown of our full match card from start to finish, it's time for you to get your creative pencils out and we'll give you 14 spaces on the pinned comment of this video. Why not fill in the gaps and let us know your WrestleMania 42 match card way too early. We are aware it's 1 year in advance, but hey, that's what makes this a lot of fun. And you know what? Just stick around for an extra 5-10 minutes because we're just going to recap WrestleMania 41 we did this time last year. It's time to point and laugh, ladies and gentlemen. But just before we do that, let's go through the match card that we're predicting for WrestleMania 42. From start to finish, NXSteve, go through your card for us.
So I've got the Lucha Bros versus Dragon Lee and El Vikingo versus the Street Profits versus DIY for the World Tag Team titles. Chelsea Green versus Naomi versus Lyra Valkyria for the United States title. I have Aleister Black versus Logan Paul versus Chad Gable versus Ilya Dragunov versus Trick Williams versus Santos Escobar for the IC title. I then have some logical booking. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Becky Lynch versus Bayley. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens and/or Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Liv Morgan versus Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. And then the rest of them, again, going back to the crazy booking, Dakota Kai versus Io Sky versus Zoe Stark versus Zelina Vega versus Jade Cargill versus Asuka in a ladder match for the IC title. Rusev versus Braun versus Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight versus Bronson Reed versus Priest for the United States title. A TLC match of Finn Balor and AJ Styles versus The New Day and a reunified Usos. More logical booking again. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio in a mask versus hair match. Obafemi versus Gunther. Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the Women's World Championship. And then the main event of night 2, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk in a last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Amazing WrestleMania card in New Orleans. You could imagine that WWE would charge you a mortgage for tickets to that show.
Definitely a house and mortgage and the car.
Absolutely, indeed. Well, let's see if they would charge just as much for this card. Let's hear it from top to bottom, shall we? For the World Heavyweight Championship, we've got CM Punk versus Seth Freakin Rollins in a WrestleMania main event. One of two that could be a main event for night 1, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, or Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for a Women's Championship. We've got Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. They're going to do it 1 year. We've got Sami Zayn turning heel on Jey Uso to win a world title. For another Women's Championship, we've got Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair. We have Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch. For the United States Championship, we have Jacob Fatu versus Bron Breakker. In mask versus hair, we have Rey Mysterio versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. For the World Tag Team Championships, we've got the Street Profits versus the New Day. For the WWE Tag Team Championships, we've got Fraxium, the Lucha Bros, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Mello and Trick, and J.D. McDonough and Finn Balor. And let's throw it in the ladder match as well. We've got AJ Styles versus the Ring General Gunther. For the Intercontinental Championship, we've got Damian Priest versus Aleister Black. And in a clash of the celebrities, we've got Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul. So those are our match cards, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time to point and laugh as we go back and rewind to our WrestleMania 41 match card predicted way too early, which is a year in advance video as well. NXSteve, let's go through that beautiful match card that sadly never happened.
Well, for starters, I got the location wrong, so that's always a plus when I can't even get the right place. But Cody versus Gunther, obviously didn't happen. Rock versus Roman didn't happen. Drew versus Priest versus Punk versus Seth. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. You just needed Roman for it. Tiffany versus Jade versus Charlotte. Again, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. You just got to take one away. The IC title, Miz didn't even make on the card. Ricochet's no longer in the company. Bronson Reed's injured. And Chad Gable didn't make the card either. So, shame. And it's just, literally, out of the 6 guys in that match, only 1 was on the card. So that's a bit disappointing. Asuka's injured. Kyrie didn't make the card. Io was in a triple threat. So I'm kind of close with that one. Rhea versus Bianca, who are the other 2 from that triple threat. So again, I'm getting like 2 or 3 ain't bad. KO versus Sammy, again, I've booked that would get the same thing again for next year, but like, hopefully it's a possibility. AJ versus Finn, yeah, just again, don't know why, but it didn't happen. The same match that I'm predicting for next year, Rey Mysterio versus Dom for a Masters versus Hair match, it's got to happen some point. It's got to be Rey's retirement match. And these two absolute, just complete fruit basket of matches. Braun versus Logan Paul versus LA Knight versus Andrade versus Santos for the United States Championship. And with Gable Steveson, who was released about 6 weeks after we did this video. So that already screwed that prediction up. And then this one was, I thought would have been a hell of a lot of fun, but they didn't end up bringing the Cruiserweight Championship back. JD McDonough, Carmelo Hayes, Nathan Frazier, who's still in NXT, Dragunov is injured, and Wesley, who's still in NXT, and Dragon Lee. Look, I'll take the 2 out of 3s. I'm probably more impressed that I named people that were on the match card.
Yeah, to be fair, look, it's not a bad shout. And to be honest, you mentioned Chad Gable and that. Who knew that El Grande Americano would even be a thing 12 months ago?
Exactly. Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed he'd be replaced by the greatest luchador wrestler of all time?
Absolutely, indeed. Well, I tell you what, let's all get ready to point and laugh at this WrestleMania 41 match card for myself 12 months ago. The Rock versus Roman Reigns didn't happen. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton didn't happen. Will it happen at 42? We'll have to wait and see. Belair versus Ripley. It was a singles match, but EO got added to the real thing, so not too far from that one. Punk versus Rollins was a singles match. Again, I've got it for next year. Roman was added. No. Ray versus Dom. We're gonna stay on that hill until it happens. Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair. Not sure what I was thinking there. Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton. Poor Bayley was on my match card, at least for WrestleMania. John Cena versus Gunther. Still think that would have been a good match, but hell, heel John Cena seems like it could be a lot more fun. And Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso. We have, for the Women's Tag Team Championships, Damage Control against Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, the challengers. That's probably the closest I've got, just the wrong champions. Got LA Knight versus Logan Paul. We've got Liv Morgan versus Roxanne Perez versus Naomi versus Io Sky for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So at least the title was around, but it wasn't on WrestleMania. Then we really get crazy. We get really crazy here. 6 men against one another. That's just never going to happen. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Sheamus, AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. Lashley's not even with the company anymore. And, of course, the wild batshit crazy ladder match as well. DIY, Creed Brothers, Street Profits, Pretty Deadly, New Day, and the Wolf Dogs. Remember them? They were great. And that was a ladder match as well.
Yeah, man. Look, like I said, 2 out of 3 out bad. Your shout for the women's tag team titles being on the WrestleMania card is probably the wildest one, and the fact that you only had the wrong champions, dude. You can't complain. It's the best thing. This is like I said. At least you got most of the names right, I suppose.
The thing is, this is what's beautiful about it, though, because that's what we saw then, and our cards did change as we got closer to Mania. And to be fair, we got warmer as we went along with the match cards. Obviously, we do them in October, so 6 months before Mania, and I always do Infamous before every PLE 1 month before where I think we're going next. And of course, that was quite near the mark at that point, especially as I think we knew at least 2 of the matches at the point of recording anyway. So the feuds are heating up by that point. So yeah, but yeah, this is always the most wildest one. So we look forward to coming back to this one in a year from now. We could be laughing at each other once again, or you never know. Maybe we just get a few of them right. But thank you all for watching. Look after yourselves and each other. Make sure to hit that like button. And yeah, if you want to see more from the channel in the meantime, all the Fame predictions for next year. Yeah, we went there. SummerSlam in the summer. We've done it. Watch them now. Enjoy. Take care. We'll see you for the next one.